How to structure your prompts to get better results in any AI platform. We reviewed various prompt guideline sources such as OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, Meta, and many more, so you don't have to. We distilled it down to the essentials for you to get better results faster. This is going to be a start of a video series on prompt engineering that will include tips, techniques or strategies, and news. If you find value on videos like this, like and subscribe to get more. First, follow a structure. The basic prompt structure has two main parts, context and task, with the option to add examples. In various prompt engineering guides, you see the basic prompt structure described differently, like for the OpenAI community, persona plus goal plus context plus examples plus action. For the Microsoft Copilot, goal plus context plus expectation plus source. For the Google Gemini AI, persona plus task plus context plus format. Fundamentally, this distills down to the context plus task plus example or constraints. For the prompt structure, use delimiters to clearly indicate the different parts. For example, you use colon after each keyword or part of the prompt and use triple quotes to indicate each section. There are other delimiters and we can explore this further in another video. Here's an example. Add a triple quotes delimiter separate to the description of the task, which is to create an abstract, introduction, and reference about environmentally friendly companies. For the keyword context, triple quotes were added after the colon to introduce the user. Add a sample introduction and abstract. Note that the single quote is inside the triple quote. For the format, a delimiter was also added to separate the description. Let's see the difference in output between a prompt with and without a delimiter. As you see here, when there is a delimiter, the correct format was followed with the correct citations in the introduction that was put into the references. On the other hand, without the use of delimiters, you will notice that there was no citations in the introduction part that was put into the reference. Next, be flexible in your prompt structure. Structures are only meant as guidelines. You can simplify, expand to add more parts, or even rearrange the parts to see if you get better results. Trial and error will always be a part of prompting, and our goal is to reduce this to get your desired results faster. Here is an example where context comes first in the prompt. The structure for this example is context plus task plus format. For the context, the user is planning a trip to Japan. For the task, provide travel tips. For the format, use bullet points to list the tips. When we change the order of these parts of the prompt, we may get a different and still meaningful result. Let's see if there is a difference in the output when we rearrange the structure. First, let's try with the context at the beginning of the prompt. Next, let's try the task at the beginning of the prompt. There is a chance to get a better result when you rearrange your prompt structure. Next, in terms of adding context to your prompt, here are some tips. Add a persona when appropriate. For example, if you just want the facts on the weather, you can prompt without a persona. However, if you want a more nuanced answer, and perhaps some tips from a professional weather reporter, then try adding a persona. For example, for the task is to provide a weather report update. Context: the report is intended for truck drivers who want to know the current weather conditions in Toronto, Canada. Format: use a clear and concise format to present the weather information. Here is the output of a prompt without a persona. Now, let's try adding a persona, which is a professional weather forecaster. As you see here, you get better results when the persona is added to the prompt. Next, clarify the intended audience. For example, you are asking for a weather report, but the intended audience are from a specific profession, such as truckers who need information about the road or regular commuters. You can state the intended audience so the result can be more meaningful for them. I will use the same example as the previous. We can differentiate the prompt with and without an intended audience. For the task, provide a weather report update. For the context, first, you are a professional weather forecaster. Second, the report is intended for truck drivers who want to know the current weather conditions in Toronto, Canada. For the format, use a clear and concise format to present the weather information. Next, I will remove the intended audience in the prompt. As you see on the right, there is a better result intended for truck drivers when you provide an intended audience. Next, add a source of reference for which the prompt will be constrained to look into as a reference for its output. This could be a link to a URL or an uploaded PDF, image, video, or other source that you wish to reference. Here is a sample weather report update based on a PDF report file. As you see here, I added in the context to use the weather format used in presenting data in Alberta, Canada. I attached the PDF file in the prompt. Let's see the output. As you see on the left, the output follows a specific structure based on the PDF attached. Next, let's look into the prompt task. When it comes to task, always set clear expectations. As a tip, use operational key phrases such as how to, create a guide or recipe, generate a code, determine if this is true or false, score this. Second, add format, list down, explain and add an example for each point, create a table, generate code or script in Python. Third, set constraints or scope. List down the top 5. Only use this source. Exclude this. This is intended for this audience. Fourth, set the tone which describes the delivery of the output text. Formal or semi-formal. Optimistic or pessimistic. Highly descriptive or brief and concise. As an example, we set the format to output in table form. Task: create a table containing today's weather report update. The table has 4 columns: time, weather condition, temperature, and advice. Please check the output in OpenAI and Bing Microsoft Copilot. Let's apply what we have learned through an example using various AI platforms such as OpenAI, Gemini, Bing Copilot, and Meta. Also, we'll reserve exploring prompt engineering techniques or strategies like few shot or chain of thought in another video. For the task, create a one-page resume based on a hiring job description. Context: The user is an AI engineer with 5 years of experience. The resume must match and include all the experiences and certifications. The resume must match the example job description obtained from a specific job site URL as an AI engineer. Here is a sample job description found in a specific job website. For the persona, you are a professional resume writer based in Canada and US. For the format, the resume follows a Canadian format. The format must be in chronological order, highlighting the skills based on the job description. The tone is formal. Let's now try the prompt. First, please see the output for the OpenAI. Copying the result in Microsoft Word, we can see that there is a good output with separator for each section. The resume is tailored according to the job description. Next, let's see the output of Bing Microsoft AI. Copying the result in Microsoft Word so we can see the format. The result is similar to OpenAI. It also has a line separation in its output, and there is a fewer details here compared to OpenAI. Next, let's see the output for Google Gemini AI. I noticed that skills comes first before work experiences. There is no line separator for each section. Next, for Meta AI. We can see in the output that it's a one-page resume. There seems to be fewer sections and formatting. There are also fewer details compared to the first three. All in all, the output of these AI platforms is decent to be used as your template. Let's have a recap on what we have learned. First, use prompt structure as your guide. A prompt has three main parts: context, plus task, plus example or constraints. Be flexible. You can simplify, expand to add more parts to your prompt to get better results. Second, add clarifying context. Set a persona where appropriate. Describe the intended audience of the output. Add a source if you want to limit the information or reference used to produce the output. Third, set clear task expectations. Use keywords such as create a list or generate a script. Add format. Set constraints and set the tone.